Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Sherry Setfin. I'm the Special Magistrate for Seminole County for Code Enforcement. We're going to go ahead and get started with our agenda for this April 11th, 2024 hearing. The way the process works, the county will present its case first. It will provide all of its evidence, witnesses, and testimony, anything that it has. It will be, you will have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses of the county, but you will not have the opportunity to present any evidence until it's your turn to in fact go. Once the county has retired its case, it will then be your opportunity to present any witnesses, evidence, testimony that you have, and then I will make a decision here today. If you do have an agenda, we don't really follow the agenda. We go through a different process that the county has, so you will be called. Just be patient, and we will go ahead and get started. The first case that we have today is going to be Gloria Day, 2344 CESM. I'm going to go ahead and swear both of you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
And can you state your name, please, for the record?
Gloria Day.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Right there. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Jason Rucker, Inspector of Seminole County. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request that it be entered into the record.
If you want to go ahead and give all of your testimony first, then we'll accept it into the record.
Okay, that's fine. This is case number 2344, CESM, is for the property located at 2325 Audley Street, Novito, which is owned by Gloria Day. The violation charge was Seminole County Code Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. The violation was the installation of a fence and gate and access control without the required permits. She is now in compliance. The initial, next slide was, we gave her some extension. The initial compliance date was an extension was 7/13. She came into compliance on 3/6/24. Total fines accrued at $6,350. The estimated cost, administrative cost, is $1,182.23. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on May 11th, 2023, and an order was given to the respondent to comply the date of July 13th, 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on July 19th, 2023. Recommendation, the Special Magistrate Board issued an order constituting a lien in the amount of $13,650 for, yes?
It's incorrect.
That's not correct.
The slide is correct. That is on that paper is incorrect. Do you have your agenda?
6,000.
Okay, I see it right here. So excuse me. Recommendation, let me reread that. The special magistrate issued an order constituting a lien in the amount of $6,350 for 127 days of noncompliance from July 13th, 2023 through and including April 11th, 2024, at $50 per day, and a fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day that the violation continues or is repeated after April 11th, 2024.
Okay, do you have anything further?
No,
Okay.
that completes my presentation.
Ma'am, do you have any objection to the PowerPoint presentation that you've been provided that has been explained by the officer to be submitted into the record as evidence?
Actually, I don't know what to tell you because I don't understand everything well, because I was thinking that the permit process started 6/20/2023, and I don't know why. I'm trying to understand now, reading this, why I'm in this situation, because I have the copy here of everything that the lady that I hired did, the fence lady, and he's saying, and she's telling me that everything, she did the permit and they approved the permit, and we have until July, she said, to make the changes in the fence. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm understanding something wrong, but I don't.
Okay, two things. So do you have any objection to the document that was given to you, the other document that you have that was given to you by the county? The green document?
This
Do you
one?
have any objection to that being submitted into evidence?
What do you mean with objection? Like, if I'm not agree for what he's saying in here?
Right. The county just provided testimony related to that document, and they've asked to have the electronic case file submitted into the record.
Okay. Well,
It's the county's evidence. It's what they're giving
Okay.
me. And then
Exact-
next, I'll ask you about
Okay.
what evidence you have.
okay, I got you. Yeah, I
Okay.
believe it's nothing else that I.
Okay, I will accept the county's electronic case file into the record, and if you, the document that you have, can I see what you have?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually consistent with what the county has said. This is a building permit, and the issue date in the top left-hand corner is November 16th, 2023, which is what they have indicated on the slide. So it wasn't issued until November, but your compliance date in the order was July. So what the county is saying is that you were out of compliance for 127 days. But what they have also stated is that instead of imposing the fine of $6,350, that they would just like their costs imposed. And I have looked in the case file, and I'm going to accept into the record the summary of the administrative costs. They are totaling $1,182.23. So what the county is asking is that the fine that had accrued in the amount of $6,350 be reduced to the $1,182.
Okay, I
So
understand.
then is that an amount that you would be able to pay?
I need to pay it if I need to, I don't know how is the process to pay if you do it in 2 times or?
Well, you
What
tell
is
me,
it?
is that something that if I gave you, how much time would it take you to pay that amount?
Honestly, I need like 3 months.
Okay, so I'll give you 90 days to pay the $1,182.23. I'll reduce the fine to that amount. If you do not pay the amount in the 90-day period, then it will revert back to the $6,000 amount.
I understand.
Okay? And let me ask, does the county accept payments, or does she need to pay it all at one time? Okay, I'm being told that you need to pay it all at one time, so you don't need to make payments as long as you make the payment in full by the end of the 90-day period, okay? And you'll receive an order in the mail that lays out all of this information and tells you where you can pay the payment.
Okay, and I have another question.
Okay?
They're not supposed to send me, like, that this happened, that I need to pay all these fees? I didn't know nothing that I gotta pay all of that. I never received any notice or nothing on any letter, and I explained that I sent an email to Ms. Vicky, and I was trying to explain to her that, but, her answer was that I gotta check my mail, but I checked my mail, but I never received nothing.
But then you were here today. You were given the notice, so were you present for the original case when the original order was entered?
I was here, last year, and I was, because also was another violation, and I decided to do demolition, that way I can finish with that. And then the second one was this one, and I said, of course, that I'm gonna find a person to help me with this. And from that day, the defense lady tell me that she submit the permit the 20, this in 6/20, 6/20, and she tell me, no, you don't need to worry because I submit the permit, and as soon as they approve it, I pay and I do the process. That's why I'm trying to understand why the fees, if I was trying to do everything to be in compliance.
And I appreciate that, and just because the individual turned in the application doesn't mean that the permit was approved. So you have to receive the permit, you have to get an approved permit. You have to have a permit before you come into compliance. And so I don't know where the disconnect was, but the document that you had given to me, it says that the issue date is November 16th. So then that was the date it was issued. Now, I don't know why it took that long to be issued, but I'm assuming that there were things that she didn't provide. Do you have any?
There was issues with the site plan?
No, so,
I need to swear you in if you're going to give testimony. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Megan Zanorski for Planning and Zoning. Not to diminish staff's time and administrative fees that may be due to staff, I just would like to explain to the applicant and the property owner kind of the disconnect and what happened. I did the residential permit review for zoning and approved a site plan on July 7th. So the permit was submitted when the contractor said the permit was submitted. The review was done timely, was submitted back for a building to be issued. However, your contractor did not pay for the permit to be issued until November 16th. So that's the disconnect.
Okay.
Okay, that means that I got to talk to her.
So
Yes.
she's the reason why you're here today dealing with this issue, because if she would have paid for your permit and your permit would have been issued, you would have been in compliance.
Yeah, maybe that's why she doesn't want to come. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I will go ahead and reduce the accrued fines to $1,182.23. I'll give you 90 days to pay. In the event that the reduced amount is not paid within the 90-day period, the lien will revert back to $6,350. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll do yours first, because you're, okay, 2417 CESM, Efrain Lima and Kelly Andres.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2417 CESM for the property located vacant. The address that we have is 3125, but I don't know if it's a valid address. The violation charge, Seminole County Building Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, installation of gazebo well addition to the main structure, including interior build-outs, to include but not limited to plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and accessory structures, including sheds and Connex containers, all done without permits. There are several. Okay. This case was originally heard by the Special Magistrate on March 14th, 2024, and the order was issued given the respondent a compliance date of April 10th, 2024. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $854.62 for both the inspectors and the clerks. Recommendation, the Special Magistrate Board issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $250 per day of noncompliance from April 10th, 2024 through the including April 11th, 2024 at $250 per day. And a fine shall continue to accrue at $250 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after April 11th, 2024. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. Would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there any objection to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
Just on page 9, I think similar to the last hearing, Your Honor, and for the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eola Drive, here on behalf of the respondent. What is labeled as a dock is not a dock. I believe that is the gazebo structure, which is correctly identified as such in subsequent sort of on-site photos, but that's the only objection.
Okay, I will accept the electronic case file into the record with the exception of the language related to the unpermitted dock and changing that to a gazebo, an unpermitted gazebo. Okay?
Okay. Good, Your Honor, my clients wanted to be here today. The storm sort of impacted their plans with child care, so I'll handle it. And what I would like to limit everything to today is sort of the time period between the last hearing we had and today, to give you an idea of what efforts have been made and kind of what direction we're taking. The effort to get everything in line, frankly, was complicated by the fact that the day after the last hearing, the power was shut off to the structure. And Mr. Pike, the building official, was clear in his letter that that was within his authority, and he was candid with me that he intended to do it. And I did get a courtesy call from the county attorney, but they were living in the structure, as you're aware. Subsequently, it sort of threw everything into a bit of their living situation was unsettled. They had not only themselves there, but they had Mr. Lima's father. They had many things to take care of, so that did slow things down a little bit in terms of clearing up the actual site work here. But they spent the next several weeks in short-term rentals. I'm happy to report that they've signed a year lease on another property. And I sent a copy of that to the county attorney and to Mr. Pike. So their intent is to get this sorted out and to be in a long-term lease of another property while they do it. So that's the intent and that's the plan. In terms of the work on the site, I was not dealing with a difficult housing situation, so I arranged to meet with the county attorney and Mr. Pike. Mr. Pike brought several other folks from the county. That was on the 27th of last month. And we just hashed out a game plan. What do we need to do? How do we need to get from where we are today to where this is approaching settled? And we went through that. And I think that we have a game plan. The first step in that game plan is a site plan really focused on the sort of stormwater issues to make sure that, you know, the pavers that have been added are not going to impact, you know, any sort of wetland area. So that's really the top of the list right now. Now that they're settled in their home, their new home, they are kind of have refocused their efforts on that part of the process. But that's an explanation of kind of what happened after the hearing. On the, not specifically related to this, but also happy to report that the uninstalled pavers have been removed from the property. We had Inspector Hill come out on Tuesday of this week and inspect that. So, you know, they've had a difficult month, quite frankly, you know, but they've still managed to focus on this and work with me, work with the county. And I do just want to thank Mr. Pike and really everyone that I've met with at the county who has been willing to help and responsive. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
That is all fantastic news, and I think the biggest for me is the fact that they are not living on the property with the child anymore. And now to hear an elderly father as well, that makes it better for me. I think we had a date in July that we had stretched out another case where we were dealing with holding something out till some of these site plan issues could get finalized. So is there I'd like to be consistent with that, and I wouldn't mind giving a continuance in this case to be consistent with that. Do we know, is that date July?
July 11th, I think. Yes.
Okay, let me look at our calendar too, because I think that'll tell. Yeah, our next meeting date would be July 11th.
Okay.
And so it might be July 10th is the compliance date, probably. Does that provide you with sufficient time on this to continue working these simultaneously?
It does. I mean, well, it provides us time. You know, what we walked through the preliminary idea of timing with the county. There's a lot that's dependent on, you know, how quickly they can get, you know, some survey work done on the property. I believe that it's enough time. We need to get moving quickly, but I think, you know, we're willing to do that, and I think we can make it happen by July 11th.
Okay, so it's July 10th, and then July 11th would be the hearing date. And again, as long as there is movement and the county is happy that you're working with them and you're providing things that you need to provide and getting all of these things in place, then it doesn't upset me for them to be back here asking for the continuance. It's when the secretive stuff happens that we're not letting you back here to see what we're doing. Those kinds of things are the issue.
I completely understand and appreciate that, and I think the attitude now is we need to cooperate, walk hand in hand with the county to figure this out.
Okay, great. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to provide a continuance in this case 2417 CESM to July 10th, 2024, and everything else in my prior order will remain the same.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, you have another case too? I think you do? Yes. Yeah, so let's go ahead and hear that one too. 2366 CESM, and that's Officer Hill. Officer Hill, I'm going to go ahead and swear you in.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement East Region. This is case 2366 CESM. Respondents Ephraim Lima and Kelly Andres, located at the vacant property on Lowry Drive. The violation charged was Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 7, Section 30.122, uses permitted. Storage and accessory structures on a vacant parcel is not a permitted use in an A1 zoning district. The initial inspection was on March 16th, 2023, with compliance date orders, the last one being 8 a.m. on April 10th, 2024, with the follow-up inspections due to the magistrate's order. The most recent one was on April 9th. The results of my inspection is the violation of storage and accessory structures on a vacant parcel no longer remains on the subject property. So these are comparison photos. The one on the left was taken on the last order, which was March 7th, 2024. My inspection for the most recent order on April 9th, the pavers that were not affixed were removed from the property.
Fantastic.
The left photo was taken on March 7th, 2024. Some of the items still remained up underneath because due to them living there were still items. The middle photo and the right photo were taken on April 9th, 2024. They have it mostly 98% cleared out. There's just a couple of cages. They do have puppies on property. I know they were going to remove them. And then because of the power being turned off, they do have the generator that's in the right photo, just a couple of odds and ends. And that's pretty much that remains on the property there. So the suggested recommendation is based on testimony and evidence presented in case 2366 CSM. It's determined that the respondent, Ephraim Lima and Kelly Andres, are the owners of record located at the vacant parcel on Lowry Drive in Oviedo, in possession or control of the property, and was in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 7, Section 30.122, uses permitted. It is further recommended that the special magistrate issue an order for the respondents finding that the property was in violation and the fine be reduced to administrative costs for the sheriff's office in the amount of $582.73. That concludes my presentation.
Can you provide some evidence for the record as to the costs amount, what that breakdown consists of?
So the costs are for the initial inspection, the notices that went out. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Final notices, statement of violation request. This is all from the beginning of when the case was opened. We charge for the affidavit of posting, the inspections prior to hearing, PowerPoint, attending the hearing, whether there's joint response between deputies and myself, affidavits of noncompliance, PowerPoint presentations, and the re-inspections for the lien orders, et cetera.
Okay. Would you like your electronic case file and the cost summary submitted into evidence for the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any objections to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
And just as a point of order, just for the record, really, the puppies discussed by Kara Hill, the Limas yet on the 9th, when I was there with Ms. Hill for the inspection, they were there all day kind of working to kind of clear stuff off on the property, and the puppies were there sort of with them temporarily. They're not remaining there unwatched after. But even those cages, those temporary cages, have been removed from the property by now. The remaining items that are in the picture that Ms. Hill took are, you can see a generator there. That was because of the power being off. If they were working out there at night, that's what kind of they are having to use to light the property. We do have a pending, working with Mr. Pike, a pending temporary pole for just temporary site lighting to make it safe out there when they're on the property. So it should be soon that those generators are not really necessary. But that's what those items remaining there are. Other than that, I do want to thank Ms. Hill. I've worked with a lot of code enforcement inspectors, and I don't think I've worked with anyone that's as responsive and helpful. So I do appreciate her work on this.
And again, for the record related to this case, they have moved from the property, and they are in
Correct.
fact in a new location with a lease.
Absolutely. From the day that the power was turned off, they were off the property, going from place to place, but they're now in a long-term lease.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to find in 2366 CESM, Efrain Lima and Kelly Andres are now in compliance with the order of this magistrate, which had been continued to April 10th, that they are in compliance as of the date required by the order. And I'm going to find that the county's costs in the amount of $582.73 will be imposed. How long do you think it will take them to pay that amount?
Whatever is typical, I'm sure will be fine. If it's 30 days,
It's typically 30 days.
that's perfectly fine.
Okay, so I will,
So totaling for the county and myself, the total would be $880.06 for both the county and the sheriff's office. In my presentation, it was just for myself.
okay, is there evidence, is there presentation from the county related to those fees? Okay, I included within the file, I'm seeing the administrative costs related to opening the case, preparing for the agendas with respect to the letters and the orders that have been mailed out for a total of $297.33. I'm going to accept that into the record as for costs as well. So I'm going to increase the amount that they need to pay in costs to $880.06, and I'm going to give them 60 days to pay that amount. And if they do not pay it in 60 days, it will be recorded as a lien against the property.
Understood.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, the next case we're going to call is 2420 CESM, Rachel and Jonathan Eastman.
What kind of is it in there now?
Hi there, sir. Can you please state your name for the record?
Jonathan Eastman.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, and I'll remind you you're under oath.
Yes, thank you. Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2420 CESM for Rachel and Jonathan Eastman, located at 2053 Judith Place, Longwood, Florida, Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description violation is installation of an attached structure to the shed without the required permit. The initial inspection was done on 6/1/23, as well as the notice To the respondent, 6/123, there have been several extensions and compliance dates, follow-up inspections via on-site and computer inspections. The last inspection was done on 4/10/24. It was out there, and the violation still remains on the property. This is the proper appraiser sheet that shows that they are the owners of record. Couple pictures of the notice that was handed to Rachel. And here are, the next slide shows a couple of pictures, and there's a code violation for the lean-to type structure on the back of the shed. To date, there have been no permits. Go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead. There's another picture. Okay, and this shows that there's no permits that have been obtained. And this is the code that we are citing them for unpermitted construction. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2420, CESM, it is determined that the respondents are the record owners of the property located at 2053 Judith Place, Longwood, Florida, Seminole County. Per the property appraisers, in possession and control of the property and in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. I further recommend that Special Magistrate order the respondent correct the violation on or before June 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. That concludes my presentation. I would like to submit this. I have submitted it to the clerk, and I would like to submit this into record, please.
Do you have any objection to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's your turn.
Okay, all right. So yes, ma'am, I've got everything in line to get it taken down. I actually talked, I can't remember if it was Judy or Miss Jenny, but anyway, I spoke to them on Tuesday because I've actually got the crews working next door on my neighbors' houses so they can come over and take the thing down because I have not had time, just being honest. So, however, I do have an email from y'all regarding the variance, and if all I have to do is pull a permit, I can get that taken care of. But I wanted to submit this to make sure.
Okay, so does this particular structure that is added to the shed, does it require a variance or just a
It will
permit?
be. It's right on the property line.
Okay, so yeah, it is more than just a permit.
Exactly. But I have here where it states I don't have to. An email.
Can you
Yes, ma'am.
provide that
Yeah, here.
to me?
Or do I can get up there? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I didn't want to do what I'm not supposed to.
Okay, the email is from Ashley Dobbins
Who's deceased?
in February of 2020.
Yes, ma'am. Right. So this is whenever I was building the first part, whenever I built my first structure, the 30 by 40. They were saying that I was going to have a variance, and vacate because of where I wanted to put it, which is in the exact same place it is right now. So, however, I got refunded my money because they said you don't have to do that after all, and she sent me this email stating that I don't have to if the structure is more than 100 feet away from the property line, which in my case it is. Accessory structures or buildings shall not be on the established building line unless set back a minimum of 100 feet from the property line. Because I have an engineer on hand that'll write off on this permit right now.
Do you want to?
Okay, it must maintain a minimum setback of 10 feet from the rear, from any property line, if it's not for livestock. My understanding when I looked at this with you is that it's right on the property line.
Yes, ma'am. But then right up underneath, because I found this email, but then it says accessory buildings or structures shall not project beyond the established building line unless they are set back a minimum of 100 feet.
From the front.
From the front, sir, that means it can't be in front of the main residence unless it maintains a 100-foot setback.
Gotcha, okay.
So this is in the rear of the property, from what I recall.
Yes, in the rear. Yes, ma'am.
It's in the rear, and it's right on the property line. It needs a variance.
Understand, okay.
You and I went through this. I explained to you then that it needs a variance. It still needs a variance.
But I didn't find this email yet. And
But you and I discussed it. Yes, you did. You pulled this up.
no, ma'am, not yet, I didn't. I hadn't found it whenever you and I had met.
But I told you where it was, no matter what email you had, you were going to need a variance, whether it was from 2020, because Ashley was already deceased at that point. It needs a variance. It's encroaching into the rear yard setback. It needs a variance. It was built without a permit. If you had a permit, bad on the county. It was constructed without a permit.
Okay,
So it needs a variance and it needs a permit.
perfect. I can get it taken down. So yes, they were actually going to take it down today, but I told them to hold off because they had court today, so they're going to come back tomorrow.
Okay, so
and take it
taking
down.
it down fixes the problem as well.
a permit, right?
So they told me no, sorry. They told me no because it's not connected to that structure.
And there's no electric.
Oh, no, sir. I mean, it is a lean-to on the back just to protect 2 trailers of mine. That's it. So,
Yeah, so, yeah, he could take it down.
Okay. So then I'm going to, the county has asked that you come into compliance by June 12th. So that gives you a couple months to make sure that it comes down. I'm going to go ahead and order what the county has requested, that you come into compliance by June 12th at 8 a.m., or I will impose a fine of $50 a day for each and every day thereafter that the violation remains.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The next case is 2425 CESM, Ahmed and Sakina Mohammed? Close?
Have it.
Yes, sir, if you'll state your name for the record, please. Sir, will you state your name for the record, please?
So sorry, good afternoon. It's Ahmed Nur Mohammed.
Okay.
Thank you.
And can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
of course.
I'll remind you you're under oath.
Yes, thank you. Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Inspector. This is case number 2425 CESM for Ahmed and Sharika. I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it, it's okay.
Nur Muhammad. This is for the property located at 846 Isle Point, Sanford, Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of violation is installation of a retaining wall without the required permits. The initial inspection was done on 9/20/23, as well as the notice was issued. He has been given several compliance dates and extensions. Was inspected on 4/10/24, and it has not been removed, it still remains, and there have been no permits. The violation still remains on the property. This shows that they are the property owners, the owner of record from the property appraiser. Next photographs are showing where we posted the property. And then we have some photographs here of the construction material and the wall that has been constructed or started to be constructed.
Too fast?
No, you're good.
Keep going.
41024, it's back out there and the material is still there. The next sheet shows that there have been no permits obtained for this property. They did apply. Looks like they applied for a permit on 10/19/23, but they have not followed through. The next slide shows the actual copy of the code that we are citing for. Recommendation, based on the testimony and the evidence presented in case number 2425 CESM, it is determined that the respondents are the record owners of the property located at 411 Owl Point, Sanford. That's not right. Yeah, it should be 846 Owl Point, Sanford. In possession and control and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Further recommend that the special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before June 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or are repeated on after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation, and also I have presented a copy to the clerk and request this be entered into the record.
Thank you, sir. Do you have an objection to the electronic case file that's been provided to you being submitted into the record?
I think everything looked good except for page 12, which I'm guessing you guys are going to fix, right, with the address? Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, I will accept the electronic case file into the record with the correction of the address to 846 Isle Point, Sanford. Okay, sir. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, so I feel a bit out of place pretty much. If I say something dumb, please don't judge me, I guess, you know? But I think Hurricane Ian had come in 2022, end of 2022 pretty much, and did a lot of damage to my piece of land, if that makes sense, you know? My land is concave shaped. I have a copy of the land survey if you want a copy of it. Just let me know. But it's actually concave shape. So on the left and on the right edges of the land, whenever it actually rains too much, water from the lake actually comes up and kind of floods the area. And Hurricane Ian obviously really did a number on us, you know. In 2023, right around the hurricane that was coming in around August, September, I kind of panicked and I went ahead and, you know, got a contractor pretty much and ended up building a wall just because I was panicked pretty much. I was like, oh no, another hurricane, you know? And I didn't realize obviously that I had to get a permit for it, so that was totally my fault. I had the HOA come by, obviously, and I had Vicky come by as well, too. Great lady, by the way. You know, she explained me the process of the permitting, and I think we started the process of the permitting. I got an engineer to get me plans for everything based on the existing wall that I'd built as well, too. I submitted the permit and the plans pretty much to the county. I think I was speaking to Megan, if I'm not mistaken. Megan, and there's another lady as well inside the permit building. Bruce Wayne, or Wayne Bruce or something, because I remember Batman, I guess, you know. So Wayne Bruce and Megan, I think, and I was talking to both of them, and I think they asked the engineer to make a few changes as well too. I made the changes. I sent back the application with the new plans, and they were happy with everything pretty much. They were like, this is perfect, this is good to go. But Megan was like, I still can't give you a permit. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because apparently I built in the, and this might seem, I built in the conservation and easement area of the HOA. So I went back to the HOA and I told them that, hey guys, I have the plans, everything is ready, everything is good to go, but the county won't give me a permit until I get a approval or a permit from you guys, gave me permission to build on the easement area. And they were okay with me building on the easement area because that whole area is damaged completely pretty much. So I was actually making the piece of land better for everybody, if that makes sense, for myself and the HOA members who wanted to kind of walk by as well too and, inspect the property. And they came back to me and told me that they would never be able to give me a permit if the county didn't give me a building permit. So, and I don't know where to go, how to go about this pretty much, if that makes sense. And I emailed Vicky as well too pretty much, and she's like, I can't do anything in this point pretty much, just kind of, figure it out both ways pretty much. And I can see why the HOA would not be comfortable with giving me a permit without me getting a permit from the county, and the county doesn't want to give me a permit without getting a building permit from the HOA as well too, because the wall kind of eased out onto the easement or the conservation area, if that makes sense. And I have a beautiful home, thankfully, but I'm looking out in my backyard and I see this mess pretty much, and it's still raining. It's raining right now pretty much. My wife just texted me. She's like, hey, there's mud on both the patios and the sides again. Honestly, I just want to get this fixed and done, but I just don't know what to do, And I mean...
So have you... The homeowners association isn't willing to give you anything contingent on the approval?
Let me try asking, but apparently according to them, the county always supersedes them, if that makes sense, pretty much. So they were like, we can't give you something, and then, I think maybe they're probably trying to obviously look out for themselves pretty much. They don't want to give me like some sort of a temporary permit or something, and then I don't follow through or something. I guess that's what they're worried about.
I think what the county is probably meaning, and I'll let Megan speak to it, just authorization to be able to, if you want to.
Good afternoon, Megan from Planning and Zoning. So I actually spoke to, I believe it was the HOA president. Conservation areas and easements by definition, by our code, do not permit structures. They're supposed to be vacant, unimpeded areas. Upon occasion, we will allow structures when they're dedicated to HOA properties. When something like this happens, if an HOA will be amenable to it. But it's an HOA dedication. The property's dedicated to the HOA. The HOA, my understanding is the HOA has no intent of ever granting anybody to ever do anything in this conservation area. So the county will never grant a permit in the conservation area because it's against our definition. Greenbelts and conservation areas just don't get permits on a whole. And then if we don't have HOA approval, which it sounds like he's not going to be able to obtain, we're kind of at a standstill on this. So he would have to relocate the structure outside of the conservation easement.
Okay. So what the county is saying is without the authorization because the HOA is the easement holder, the conservation easement holder, without that authorization, it's like if you had another property owner that you were, because the HOA is the easement holder, that's a property interest. So without their authorization for you to move forward, they couldn't even consider it. She said under some limited circumstances, they may do it, but even you would need to go through that process with the HOA.
So she actually makes perfect sense pretty much. I actually had the president of the HOA and one of the board members pretty much come out to my house as well too for an inspection, obviously, because when this happened, actually I have a really good relationship with a couple of the board members there, so they wanted us to get this fixed, ASAP, and from what I understood, is this recorded by any chance, or?
Yes.
Is it access to public to use as well too, or is it just for people?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine, don't worry. Anyways, when I spoke to the board member, when I spoke to one of the board members and the president of the HOA pretty much, I think they realized how bad the conservation area was, if that makes sense pretty much, and they were willing to give me permission to build up on that, to make it prettier, so that, the board members can kind of walk by there as well too. And if I also gave the board a donation as well too, pretty much in the tune of about a couple grand pretty much, just to kind of, make everybody's happy, the board has some money, and obviously the conservation area looks pretty as well too, if that makes sense,
So the county has nothing to do with any of that,
Right,
really.
correct. But the thing is, they kept on telling me that they can't do anything until I get some sort of a permit.
No, that's not correct.
Okay. Okay.
Their authorization has to come forward, just like you wouldn't, your neighbor couldn't get a permit on your property. And so you basically are a neighbor to that easement, so you have to have authorization from them to be able to do anything in that area.
Okay.
Before it can be considered by the county. And it still would have to be considered, and it would have to meet their criteria for them to be able to issue it at that point. Or they are saying that you could move the wall. Now, obviously, you don't move the wall without a permit. You would need to get the permit first before you move the wall. And what they've asked for is to give you through June 12th to come into compliance, and that's roughly 2 months. Is that sufficient for you to be able to work through all of this?
I might, if you don't mind, Johanna, if you don't mind, I might request for more time, only because my wife is pregnant right now, and the due date of the baby is actually June 5th. And I'm trying to, just get her to appointments pretty much. And we have like 3 other kids at home. So it's a lot going on, if that makes sense. I feel like, because I would, based on what you're mentioning to me pretty much, obviously it looks like what I'm going to do first and foremost pretty much is I'm going to try to go to one of the board ARC meetings pretty much, and I think they do those once a month. I'm going to try to request permission one more time from them, like, hey, I actually had a hearing at the county, and they told me that I need some sort of a mock approval from you guys to be able to get permission from the county to build.
It's authorization from them.
Authorization, sorry. Okay, makes sense. So I'm going to try to make it to one of those meetings. I think the next one is in May. The April one, I think they meet on the first Wednesday of every month, I think. So I think the next one is probably going to be on the first Wednesday of May. If they say yes, perfect, I'll try to come back and get a permit. If they say no, it seems like I might have to move the wall to kind of, stay within the conservation area, if that makes sense. And for me to move the wall, I would have to once again apply for another permit.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think I might need more than that, if that's okay with you, please.
Our next meeting in July would be in July, so the July 10th would be the date.
April, June, July, 3 months. I think that might work for me, yeah. July 12th, you said, right?
No, July 10th.
July 10th, sorry, yeah. And just to confirm, I would have to come back here again and address you again, or?
Well, if you're in compliance, then you would not.
Okay,
Now,
perfect.
if you're not in compliance, then yes, there would be a compliance hearing on July 11th.
Okay.
But I will tell you, if you're working with the county, that is a lot more favorable if you need to ask for an extension than if you have dropped off the face of the earth and you're not working with them. So,
I have 3 kids and a 4th coming along the way. I'm not going anywhere.
okay. So does the county have any objection to stretching out the compliance date to July 10th?
No, ma'am. No, we don't.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and order that you are in violation at this time of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, and that you need to bring the property into compliance by July 10th, or you will have a fine imposed of $50 a day for each and every day that the violation remains.
Makes
Okay?
sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to confirm, sorry, you said you would need some sort of authorization from the board, from the HOA or the board, pretty much, just to be able to continue working with the permitting process?
Let me have you get with Megan.
Yes, of
She can
course.
probably explain
Sounds
to
good.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Joanna.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case is 2267 CESM Tawny Investments Incorporated. Yes, sir. Hi. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Robert Dimitri.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Hi, Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2267 CESM, Tawny Investment Incorporated, located at 1025 Miller Drive, Altamont Springs. Violation charged, Seminole County Building Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A. The violations, description of unpermitted construction throughout the building and on the property, including but not limited to interior alterations, electrical wiring, exterior additions, and possible change of use and/or occupant classifications without the required permits. Compliance dates that were given are listed here, 9/12/22 through 3/9/23. They came into compliance on 9/27/23. The accrued fine is $10,100. The estimated administrative cost is $549.46. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on July 14th, 2022, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of September 12th, 2022. On September 12th, the Special Magistrate issued an order extending compliance dates to December 8th. December 8th, the Special Magistrate extended again to February 2nd. On February 9th, the Special Magistrate issued an order extending the compliance date to March 9th. In effect of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on March 10th, 2023. Multiple applications were received and reviewed at the request of the building official. Extended case through December 2023. After review and issued permits, submitted applications, still outstanding. An affidavit of compliance was filed by the inspector after confirmation on March 7th, 2024, that the required permits were obtained on September 27th, 2023. Recommendation based on the findings of fact issued on July 14, 2022, Special Magistrate issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $10,100 for 202 days of noncompliance from March 10th, 2023 through and including September 27th, 2023, and a fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after April 11th, 2024. This concludes my presentation. I have submitted a copy to the clerk and would ask that this be put into record, please.
Do you have any objection to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
No.
Okay, and I'm also noting in the case file, there are a summary of the fees and costs and the rates pertaining to the preparation of the case, the various filings, the summary from the inspector in the amount of $288.60, and the summary from the clerk in the amount of $260.86. I'm also going to accept those into the record as well. Would you like to provide anything additional?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm trying to think about where should I start so it doesn't become this long, drawn-out story of what has happened. It's complicated. I'm doing most of this based on recollection. There was a lot that my family went through during this time with some personal losses. And I was unaware of any of this for quite some time. One day I happened to check the mail at my office in between seeing patients, and there was a letter from Seminole County, I think Sheriff Department, based on obstruction of the right-of-way to get, I guess, the emergency vehicles in and out if there was if they needed to get in to provide assistance to an employee or to a worker. My dad at the time was managing this property, but he had not been well. We have since met here on a couple different occasions. Before I get ahead of myself, let me just kind of build it from there, and I'll try to just hit the highlights to explain what's happened. So that day, on my lunch break, I drove by the building, and I happened to see a sheriff there, and they were writing up the person who was occupying the entire building at the time was Affordable Granite, and we are currently suing them now. So I'm apprehensive of sharing too much about names, but the name of the company is Affordable Granite. And they have been the ones that were being notified. There was inspectors out there repetitively. The names I remember is Christina Diaz, Steve Burris, Mr. Pike, and I forget, I think there was one more. Nonetheless, ultimately, I was going out there to find out what the obstruction was. And it's a big granite manufacturing company, and they had granite that they were throwing in dumpsters, and the dumpsters did not fit very well within this space to be able to get emergency vehicles in if there was an emergency. On the back side of the building, they looked like they started using it for their trailers that would carry the granite to different places that were going to do installations. So that's ultimately when I took over. And I started immediate action with Seminole County. I called for a meeting to help me be brought up to speed on what was actually going on. Unbeknownst to me, it had been going on for a long time. All those violations there that you had shared were real. And so I called for a meeting, if I could have all the inspectors come and meet at the premises with me, which was eye-opening to me. I don't know that I'd ever do that again. But it was good that we did it because it put us all on the same page with no misunderstoods. And I started developing a battle plan and tackling it, which was a major undertaking, especially with what we were going on with at the time, my mom, who was still alive, and my father, who is now still with us but not well. It was just a very stressful time. COVID had pretty much claimed my type of a practice, which was mostly private pay, and trying to make ends meet during that time was not easy. Since then, repairing this building has pretty much wiped me out, but we still have it, and we've got it all done. The building is fully in compliance. There's a lot more detail from the onset to now, but the building is completely in compliance. Mr. Pike, Christina Diaz, Steve Burris, and the rest of them have been fantastic. They've responded to my phone calls. They've helped me through the process. When I learned of all the problems, I immediately hired Stephen Mitchell, who was a GC in Orlando, and he pretty much handled all of everything with the county and made sure everything was done properly. But the building, from what I understand, in fact, I thought everything was done. I didn't even know I needed to be here. So when I received that notice the other day, it surprised me because I was understanding that if everything was taken care of, none of which was the fault of any of us, or my father's, Dimitri Builders, that this was going to be done. So for me being here today was a surprise. I mean, I knew, several weeks ago. That being said, there is a lot more, but, with efforts of saving time and telling you all the little bitty details, that's pretty much what happened. Everything, from my understanding, is completely in compliance, and that process started to be immediately rectified as soon as I became aware of it and addressed it with everybody.
Okay. So the county has just requested that they be reimbursed for their administrative costs at this point, and that they are willing to waive the fines that have been that could be imposed for the 202 days of being out of compliance, which would amount to $10,100. And so I am completely inclined to reduce the fine to the $549.46. And how long would it take you to pay that amount?
I'll pay it today.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
I don't know that you can pay it today, because
Or
I think my
whenever.
order has to be issued first, but
Yeah.
I can give you 30 days to pay it.
Yeah.
And then what would happen if you didn't pay it in the 30 days, it would revert back to the $10,100.
Sure.
And then it would lien the property.
First of all, thank you very much. That helps out significantly. The letter I did receive, I hope I'm not causing more problems for myself, but it was out of compliance for, let's see if that's the letter. For 399 days, and the fine was $18,550. So that's just probably the update from that one, that's point to the present, I would imagine.
This one's great. It must have been a miscalculation, so it's probably not quite as extreme as you thought it was. Only the $10,100 is what I've been given evidence related to. So that would be the amount that it would revert back to if the $500 wasn't paid. So you are fine, even if the letter says that. I've been provided evidence here today that it's only $10,100, so that's what I would order, and the $18,000 figure would not be in effect.
That's excellent. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do I just get an invoice, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
we'll send you an order.
Okay.
Next case is 22103 CESM Thomas Courtwright. Hello, sir. How are you?
Just fine yourself.
Great, thank you.
Hello.
You state your name for the record,
Thomas Courtwright.
and I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 22103 CESM. This is for the property located at 5675 Deer Path Lane, Sanford, and is owned by Thomas J. Courtwright, Jr. Violation charged is the Seminole County Building Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It was for remodeling of interior garages into apartments, including plumbing, electrical, HVAC, new windows and doors, without the required permits. Compliance dates and extensions that were given were from 3/9/23 all the way up to 4/10/24. Follow-up visit on 4/10/24. Still in non-compliance as of 4/10/24. Accruing fines of $50 per day. Estimated administrative cost is $1,342.16. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on December 8, 2022. An order was issued giving the respondents a complying date of March 9th, 2023. On March 9th, 2023, the Special Magistrate extended to June 7th, 2023. On June 8th, 2023, Special Magistrate extended again to August 10th, 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on August 15th, 2023. On September 14th, 2023, Special Magistrate ordered an extension to November 17th. On November 16th, Special Magistrate issued an extension to February 7th of 2024, with the meeting February 8th, 2024. On February 8th, 2024, Special Magistrate ordered an extension compliance date of April 10th, 2024, with the meeting being today, April 11th. The estimated administrative cost, as I said, was $1,342.16 for both inspectors and the clerks. Recommendations: Special Magistrate issued an order consisting of a lien in the amount of $50 for 1 day of noncompliance through and including April 11th at $50 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after April 11th, 2024. I have presented this to the clerk and would like this to be submitted into record. That completes my presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Courtwright, do you have any objection to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm going to also note in the file, the summary of costs submitted by the clerk in the amount of $543.51, and the summary of costs submitted by the inspector in the amount of $798.65. Do you have anything?
Yes, ma'am. We finally received building plans, submitted them this morning, applied for the permit. Waiting for the engineer stamp set to come in the next couple days.
Okay.
And then we can have the permit finally and get this closed out. As you know, I've been in here every month for over a year now, and we've knocked these
Yes.
permits out. I swear, we know each other by first name basis
Right,
now.
right.
That's where we are right now.
Okay.
So I literally got the plans in my hand at 7:30 this morning, and I've been hounding this architect for daily
Okay.
for the past several months.
You thinking 30 more days, or?
It's in the engineer's hands now, so, I mean, as soon as he stamps it and I give them to you guys, and I get they asked for some windows and door specifications, and I think that's it. It's the only thing holding us up, so 30, 60 days, I would think we should be in good shape.
So the county has any objection?
I don't have any objections.
Okay, then I think I'm going to give you 60 days, just in case, because I know you have been very diligently appearing before us every month that we have a compliance hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this case for 60 days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, the next case, 2368 CESM Innovo Properties LLC.
I'll bring it to you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Jason Chaka.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2368 CESM. It's for the property located at 1230 Woodmere Drive, Altamont, Florida, Altamont Springs, Florida, which is owned by Innovo Properties, LLC. Violation charge, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, for various violations. Fence, AC units, garage enclosed, carport, accessory structures and backyard, wood sheds, tarps over sheds, and aluminum carports with tarps over them. Case summary was he was given several compliance dates. Follow-up inspection, the last inspection was done 4/10/24. Total accrual fine was $250 per day. Estimated administrative cost was $1,073.32. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on December 14th, 2023, and an order was issued giving the respondent the compliance date of February 7th, 2024, with a compliance hearing scheduled for February 8th, 2024. On February 8th, an order was issued extending the compliance date to April 10th, 2024. The estimated administrative cost, once again, was $1,073.32 for both the inspector and the clerk. Recommend that the special magistrate issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $250 for 1 day of noncompliance from April 10th, 2024 through and including April 11th, 2024, at $250 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $250 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after April 11th, 2024. I have given a copy of this to the clerk and asked that this be submitted into record. That completes my presentation.
Sir, do you have any objection to the electronic case file that is before you being submitted into the record as evidence?
No.
Okay. And I will note for the record also, there has been a letter received to the county from Thompson Engineering Group Incorporated on behalf of Innovo Properties, LLC, asking that, letting the county know that he has been hired to facilitate and complete the as-built construction plans to achieve the necessary permits and come into compliance. And he's asking for 6 months to be able to do that. I'm going to accept that into the record. Does the county have objection to providing the 6 months that's been requested?
I'd say, yeah, we'll go ahead and accept that. It seems kind of long, but yeah, 6 months is fine.
Okay, and it is an official letter from the engineer where he himself is asking for the extension of time. So I'm going to go ahead and order an extension of the compliance date to October 9th, 2023 at 8 a.m. in accordance with 24, sorry. In accordance with the request made by your engineer, and everything else in the previous order will remain in effect, and hopefully you can get this taken care of by October 9th.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. was the last. Okay, now we're going to start back over from the top. 2421 CESM Jill Kelly. You can deliver it over there if you'd like.
Okay. Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2424 CESM. Is for the property located at 520 Lynchfield Avenue, Altamont Springs, which is owned in 2421. I'm sorry, I have the wrong one. There we go. I got the right one now. I'm sorry. Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case 2421 CESM for the property located at 411 Kentwood Avenue, Sanford, Seminole County. The violation charged is the Seminole County Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. The description of violation is installation of a two-story accessory structure without permits. The initial inspection was done on 8/23/23. Notice to the respondent was on 8/24/23. There were several extensions and compliance dates, and there were follow-up inspections. And the follow-up inspection on 4/10/24 indicated that the violation still remained on the property. This is the property appraiser's sheet that shows they are the owner of record. And it shows where they were noticed. These are some aerial photographs of the property. The next slide shows where the structure is at. And that's a better picture of the structure that is in question and that does not have permits. You can go ahead and cycle through those. Where we had disposed the property. We've been out there several times and the violation still remains. There have been no permits pulled for an accessory structure. We got one for a re-roof and a shed. Next slide is the copy of the code where we cited them for Chapter 40, in Chapter 40. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2421 CESM, it is determined that the respondent is the owner of record of the property located at 411 Kentwood Avenue, Sanford, Seminole County, and is determined by the property appraiser's records in possession and control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. I further recommend that special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before June 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violations. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request that it be entered into the record. This concludes my presentation.
I will accept the electronic case file into the record in case 2421 CESM. I'm going to find that the property owner was properly noticed to be here today. However, she is not present. I'm going to find that the county has provided sufficient, competent, substantial evidence of a violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1 for failure to secure the necessary building permits. I'm going to find find that, or order that the property be brought into compliance by June 12th, 2024, or a fine in the amount of $150 a day will be imposed for each and every day thereafter that the violation remains. Okay, the next case, 2422 CESM IMS Group LLC.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2422 CESM. Is for the property located at 2005 Tree Fork Lane, number 109 Longwood, which is owned by IMS Group LLC. The violation charge is the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. The description of the violation is interior alterations, including but not limited to electric and mechanical and change of use without the required permits. Initial inspection was done on 9/1/23. Notice to the respondents were 9/1/23 and 9/18/23. Compliance dates and extensions that were given, the follow-up inspections, and upon my inspection on 4/10/24, violation still remains on the property. This is the property appraiser's website page that shows they're the owners of record of the property. And then we've got several photographs of where the property was posted. And then we have some pictures that were taken on the original day of the violation. You can see that there was work going on inside the structure. And the violations still remain. There have been no permits obtained for this property. The next page shows the code that was cited. It's a copy of the code. Can you go to the next one, Julie? Yep. There you go. Thank you. Recommendations based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2422 CESM. It is determined that the respondents are the record owner of the property located at 2005 Tree Fork Lane, number 109 Longwood in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's record, in possession and control of the property, and in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. I further recommend that the special magistrate order the respondent correct the violation on or before June 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or are repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I have presented a copy of this to the clerk and request that it be entered to the record. This completes my presentation.
I'm going to find that the property owner was properly noticed to be here today, however, they are not present. I'm going to find that the county has provided sufficient, competent, substantial evidence of a violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, for failure to obtain the necessary building permits. I'm going to order that the property be brought into compliance by June 12, 2024, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day will be imposed for each and every day thereafter that the violation remains. Next case is 2423 CESM IMS Group LLC, same property owner as the prior case.
Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2423 CESM for the property located at 2005 Tree Fork Lane, number 113 Longwood, and is owned by IMS Group LLC. The violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. Description of violations, interior alterations, including but not limited to electrical, mechanical, and change of use without the required permits. This was initially inspected on 9/1/23. Notice to the respondents were 9/1/23 and 9/18/23. Follow-up inspection. They had several extensions and compliance dates, and the follow-up inspection was done on 4/10/24, and the violations still exist on the property, remain on the property. This is a screenshot of the property appraiser's webpage that shows they are the owner of record. And here are some pictures of the notice of hearing and some of the stuff that was done similar to the prior case. Permit page shows that there have not been any permits obtained for the property. The next slide shows the code section that we are citing for. Recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2423 CESM. It is determined that the respondent is the owner of record of the property located at 2005 Tree Fork Lane, number 113, Longwood in Seminole County. Determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession and control of the property and in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. I further recommend that the special magistrate order the respondents to correct the violation on or before June 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and requested that it be entered into the record. This concludes my presentation.
I'm going to accept the electronic case file into the record. I'm going to find that the property owner was properly noticed to be here today, however, they are not present. I'm going to find that the county has presented sufficient, competent, substantial evidence to show a violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, for failure to secure the necessary building permits. I'm going to order that the property be brought into compliance by June 12th, 2024, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day will be imposed for each and every day thereafter that the violation remains. The next case I'm going to call is 2424 CESM, Civica Simpson and Philip Devonish.
Good afternoon, Jason Rucker, Seminole County Building Department Inspector. This is case number 2424 CESM for the property located at 520 Lynchfield Avenue, Altamont Springs, which is owned and occupied by Civica Simpson and Philip M. Devonish. The violation charge is the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. The description of the violation is unpermitted corrugated metal lean-to structure and screen enclosure without the required permits. Initial inspection was done on 10/3/23. A notice was sent to the respondent 10/5/23. They have been given several compliance dates and extensions. The last inspection was 4/10/24, and the violation still remained on the property. This shows that they are the owners of record of the property from the county's website, or for the property appraiser's website. It shows that they were posted notice was posted of the hearing. The photos next are showing that's the metal lean-to structure up against the back fence. There's some more pictures of notices that were given. We have a few aerial photographs showing the location of the violation. Aerial photo, this aerial shows it a little bit better, the back side. Okay. Shows that there have not been any permits obtained for these structures. The next slide shows that this is the code section we have cited them for. Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Chapter 105.1. I recommend, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2424 CESM, it is determined that the respondents are the owner of record of the property located at 520 Lynchfield Avenue, Altamont Springs in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession and control of the property and in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, 105.1. I further recommend that special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before June 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or are repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request that it be entered into record. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, I'm going to accept the electronic case file into the record. I'm going to find that the property owners have been properly noticed to be here today. However, they are not present. I'm going to find that the county has provided competent, substantial evidence to show a violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1 for failure to secure the necessary permits. I'm going to order that the property be brought into compliance by June 12th, 2024, or a fine in the amount of $150 a day will be imposed for each and every day thereafter that the violation remains. Next case is 2319 CESM Eugene P. and Donna J. Smith. Since this is a compliance case and I have entered an order, I'm going to note the record that the property owner, Eugene and Donna Smith, are not present. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I know on the prior order that I entered, the property was to be brought into compliance by yesterday. And the last two slides of your electronic case file show that a photograph was taken yesterday on April 10th showing that the violation still remains. And also the final slide showing the permits, the permit software, that there has not been a building permit pulled for the generator that was improperly installed. Is this correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to also note that the file indicates summary of costs in this matter in the amount of $868.80. I'm going to ratify my prior order entered on February 12th, 2024, and the fine will start accruing as of April 10th, 2024, actually April 11th, 2024, which is today, the fine will begin accruing. And I will also impose costs in the amount of $868.80. Okay. The next case, 2349 CESM. Can I have that file, please? 2349 CESM, Jason Turner.
He's here.
Oh.
He just shared it.
Okay, perfect timing.
Jason, you can go ahead and sit up there.
Okay, if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Jason Turner.
And if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. In this case, there was an order entered by the prior magistrate on the 15th of June, 2023. Okay, you want to go ahead and provide your case?
Sure. Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector. This is case number 2349 CESM for property located at 5635 North Road, owned by Jason Turner. This case was originally heard by Special Magistrate on June 8, 2023, and the order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of August 11, 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on August 14, 2023. The recommendation Special Magistrate issued an order constituting a lien in the amount of $12,250 for 245 days of noncompliance from August 10th, 2023 through and including April 11th, 2024 at $50 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 a day per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after April 11, 2024. I have presented this copy to the clerk and asked that this be submitted into record. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. Is there any objection to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
This case here, yes, just due to the fact I had several conversations with the young lady that was running code enforcement up on the second floor, that was in the office where planning and zoning is. I don't remember who that was, because she's not with you guys anymore.
So you're objecting to the electronic case file for the evidence that was just presented based on a
Yes.
discussion that you had?
On this case here with the $12,250.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so he has just provided evidence related to the electronic case file. You're disputing that based on a conversation you had with someone?
I'm not finished yet. So when this whole case began and transpired.
Okay, I'm not asking for your testimony yet.
Okay.
I'm asking if you object to the electronic case file being placed into the record.
I don't have my attorney present, so I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, I'm going to accept the
Yeah.
electronic case file into the record. Okay, now you can go.
Okay.
You
So,
can go ahead.
Pertaining to this?
That's what this whole
Yeah.
matter is pertaining to,
Yeah,
is
okay.
this.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought it was on the, my understanding was it was the plans I actually have turned in, there's two separate permits, I guess we have an issue with. One is covering the existing carport and the windows and the patio or porch in the front of the existing house. Is that true, or, because there's two cases or one?
The case that we're here on right now is 2349 CESM, and you were ordered by the prior magistrate to come into compliance.
So this is on the single-family house?
This, excuse me, this is for the installation of the deck, the roof over entryway, the new windows without the required permit.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes, okay. So I have, the plans are actually in for permitting right now. They're under plan review. And I think there were some comments that were sent a couple days ago, which I sent to my engineer. So I'm hoping in the next week or two, they should be through the whole process, so I can actually obtain a permit, I hope, in the next week and a half. But they've been in plan review for, I think, 2 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken.
But the concern is that you were supposed to come into compliance back in August of last year.
Yeah.
So if you've just submitted your plans 2 weeks ago, I'm having a
When
big
is that,
concern with
Jason?
that.
When did I turn in the plans for?
You submitted for 2 applications,
Yeah.
and they were both last year. So if you had to get new plans, it must have been something that wasn't correct on the original set of plans.
What it was we actually submitted the plans, and I guess we didn't respond. I guess there's some way, somehow, they didn't get into the system properly, so I had to physically come into the office, and the young lady that works in the front, she reopened the file, and then I was able to resubmit it.
Okay, so you're talking about electronic plan review?
Yeah.
and the task on your end wasn't completed?
Yeah, there was an issue when we put it in, it didn't come.
closed. Okay, so the workflow apparently
It
was
stopped.
closed,
Yeah.
correct, because you let it lapse too long. They're only open for so long.
I don't remember what
So you have
it.
to reopen.
Which they
workflow.
did,
Mm-hmm.
and we resubmitted it, and so anyway, so the plans have been turned in for a while, but I don't think that was actually the true scenario. The young lady that sits in the front, she was like, I don't know what happened, but she went in there and fixed it, and I instantly had my office upload, and it went through the system. Irregardless, it's been in plan review. Yes, it did take me a while. It took a while to find an architect to take the job. I mean, I'm in the plumbing business, I know a lot of people, so it just took forever. So finally, I retained a guy, did the drawings, surveys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just took a while, but they're in the system now. They're in, like I said, they're in plan review. We just got some comments back, I think like a couple days ago.
I'm
So-
being told that March 13 it got reopened for him to do
Yeah.
his
Okay,
side of it.
so it got reopened in March. I'm not going to rehear the case. It was heard already by a prior magistrate. She entered an order, and you aren't in compliance with it. You still don't have your permit, and so you're not in compliance. I'm going to go ahead and ratify her order, which is the 245 days of noncompliance from August 10th, which is the compliance date that she gave you, through and including today. And this fine's going to continue to run at $50 a day until you come into compliance. And I am seeing in the file,
So you can't give me a couple weeks to?
no, I
plan
cannot.
review?
It's already been
Okay.
entered.
All right.
And as far as I'm concerned, the
Yeah.
fact that you waited till March of this year, when your compliance date was August of last year, is causing me some great concern.
Well, I couldn't find anybody to take on the job.
Well, I have a hard time believing that. You know a lot of people.
Well, I'm not.
You made that perfectly
well,
clear.
You made me raise my right hand and swear and contest I'm telling you the truth, so now you're contradicting that and telling me I'm a liar?
No, I'm not. I'm just
Well,
saying,
you
you
know I
know a
really
lot of
did.
people.
I'm just telling you, I couldn't find an architect to take on the job. I raised my
Okay.
right hand and told you the truth, and
Perfect.
what do you want me to say?
I want you to sit down is what I'd like you to do.
Architects are very hard to find.
Okay, I'm
Especially-
gonna go ahead and order my fine costs in the amount of $1,065.29 for the inspectors. And I find costs in the amount of $181.26 for the clerk, for a total of $1,246.55. And the property, prior order will be ratified, and there will be a lien placed on the property. And it will continue to accrue until such time that the property is brought into compliance. Thank you.
I feel like I just got completely steamrolled.
I think compliance with orders
You made
is
me
what
raise my
is
right
necessary.
hand to tell the truth, I did.
Well, I'm glad you did. That's very honorable of you. Have a nice day.
Waste of my time and your time.
It wasn't a waste of my time, just so we're clear.
Made me raise my right hand. I just worried you.
Okay, the next case is 2350 CESM Lena Della Russo Trust. Okay, I know if I can get this file real quick. I know that this is my order. Okay. Okay, my order in this matter, fourth amended order, was entered on March 25th, 2023, and gave a compliance date of April 10th, 2024 at 8 a.m. I can you provide testimony as to your last inspection date on this property?
Yes, I was out there on April 10th, 2024, and the violations still exist on the property.
Okay, and I note that in the permits software that you all have, that a permit still has not been pulled
Correct.
or issued.
Has not.
Okay, I'm going to find that the property is still not in compliance, and I'm going to ratify my prior order, the most recent being the fourth amended order. That the property is still in violation. The fine in the amount of $50 a day will be imposed as of today. And I'm going to note the costs in this matter in the file, administrative costs being $620.94, and the inspection costs being $682.66. For a total of $1,303.60. And this will be imposed as a lien against the property, accruing at $50 a day until the property comes into compliance. Make sure those amounts added up correctly.
$1,303.60 is what I got.
You did out of those two amounts? Okay, great. Okay, next case. 2403 CESM, And that's the Brad Samuels case?
Yes. Jason Rucker, Seminole County Inspector, case number 2403 CESM, for the property located at 290 Myrtle Street, Sanford, which is owned and occupied by Brad Samuels. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of violation is shed, installation of a shed without the required permits. The initial inspection was done on 4/10. That's not right.
Okay, let me
Compliance date. Go
let me
ahead.
stop you real quick.
He's in compliance.
He's in compliance. Okay. All right. And the costs in this case?
I don't have those.
He was, because it was a continuous hearing, so you, okay. There is inspection cost.
Yeah, he came into compliance yesterday, 4/10/24.
Okay. All right, then if the case is complied, then we're good. The final case is 2405 CESM, Miguel Devanovich and Rosalinda Guzman. Is this property in compliance at this time?
Yes.
Okay. And do we have the administrative costs? And it was in compliance as of today, or yesterday?
They were in compliance in February 23rd. Or, I think February 23rd.
But if they came into compliance in accordance with the order, is this one different from the one prior? Where you didn't impose costs because they came into compliance? Oh, they came into compliance back in February. Yeah, so there are no costs imposed. Okay. All right. That will conclude the cases for today. And we will set
I did an awesome job.
the next, yes, you did such a great job. We'll go ahead and set the next hearing for May 9th, 2024 at 1:30. Thank you.